Hello everyone and welcome to my very first Vanguard Zombies review. I will be reviewing the current Season 1 version of Anfang. The Easter egg has not been added, but this is after all the new covenants have been added. So this is the specific version of the map/game mode I'm going to review today. I know this has been a controversial, one of the most controversial times in the zombies community, but I do still enjoy this mode, but I am still gonna say my criticism on it, if that's even good grammar. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what future content is gonna be like, because Treyarch hasn't specified if we're gonna get more types of experiences like Duran Fong, or if we're gonna get round-based. They were leaning more towards no round-based. I don't know if all they're planning is just to add on to Duran Fong, but so if I do another review, it might come out once they put the Easter egg out, because I'm not sure what type of content is planned for this year. Anyway, with that being said, let's hop into the review. I'm gonna review this the same way I did my Cold War reviews, but if I start to think of better ways to do it as the game's content increases, then I may change it. So first, I'm going to start with atmosphere/visuals. So the atmosphere in Vanguard is a departure from Cold War. It feels a lot like something that could have came out the Chaos storyline, kind of. It's much more demonic. All the perk fountains are fountains, and you constantly have the Elder Gods talking to you. It has a lot of personality. Visually, this is probably like the highest fidelity zombies mode we've ever had, because it's running on the new Modern Warfare engine. Art style wise, I don't think we've seen enough of what Vanguard zombies can look like to know how it's gonna compare to Cold War in the long run. But so far, I'm still liking Cold War's more cartoony art style a bit more, but that might change. But I do love how thematic the audio is in Vanguard Zombies, and the maps have been changed to incorporate more horror themes into it. However, if you have played the multiplayer, it does feel a lot like just those multiplayer maps, because it's not like what was done in Cold War, where they completely redid the areas, even though they used some multiplayer and campaign maps. They basically, it's just the multiplayer maps reskinned to fit zombies with some barriers in between. So it's not going to feel too distinct at first. They do have Shino Numa, but it's a small section of the map, and I hope we do get to play a bigger portion of it later on. So for visual/atmosphere, the visuals are great. Maybe I should separate these two in the future, but the visuals are great. This is probably the best graphically looking zombies game we've ever had. But I think a lot of the particle effects, a lot of stuff like that it isn't the same as Cold War and before, where like you get a nuke, the whole screen doesn't go white. Like a lot of the effects aren't completely there yet. So although the atmosphere is good, it still doesn't make itself unique enough by being set on the multiplayer maps. So I'm gonna give visuals and atmosphere a 7 out of 10. Pretty good, but I can't wait to see what they do to improve it. Okay, now map flow/gameplay. This is the most controversial part of the game, is the gameplay. Which makes sense, because Zombies is a gameplay-focused game, because it's only a side mode. But Vanguard Duran Fong is very repetitive. Within an hour or two, you've played most of what there is to experience, especially at launch before all the new covenants were added. It is fun. The game itself feels great. It's just the mode itself. Like the movement feels great. Everything on the new engine feels great. I know the engine's for visuals, but they're using like the Modern Warfare type movement. It does feel great, though some people might still prefer the Cold War movement. But it's just you can't really have the whole marketing point was that every game is unique since you get teleported everywhere, but after a while it feels less unique than just playing your own round-based zombies game, because you keep on visiting the locations, It just feels the same every time. The objectives are a bit too short, and you can't really get into a good loop of killing zombies as much as you want unless you're grinding for camos and sit in a corner during a harvest objective. I think the game itself is great. If a round-based map was put into this game, it would feel amazing. I think the perks feel great. Speed Cola might need a little buff, but Stamina Up is super fun. Like, I think the foundation of the game is really good. It's just the mode is very repetitive. It's basically like, it almost feels like this was supposed to be the PlayStation exclusive mode, kind of like Onslaught, but it was made the main mode. I don't know, that is probably not true, but it basically feels like if Onslaught was the main mode. I do enjoy it more than most people though. The Stormkriegers are fun, the Boomschreiers are fun. They're a bit different from Tormentors because they explode immediately. They don't have a little cooldown, and like the gameplay itself is really fun. Like, everything is really solid. It's just the way the mode is structured makes it hard to have that fun as much. And once you hit round 15, I think, is the health cap, and basically most rounds after that are going to be the same. And for people like me who are grinding for Dark Ether, it makes the grind even, like, I mean, it makes it easier, but it can be even more tedious if you don't want to just sit in a corner on a harvest round for infinite zombie spawns, because you're basically just doing that while not actually participating in the actual game. And while I know more is going to be added in the future, right now it's more like a shrunken down version of Outbreak combined with round-based and Onslaught. It's still fun. I still play it every day, and I like it because zombies is zombies. It's for some people, it's going to get a little too repetitive too fast, and they're not going to enjoy the gameplay loop as much. So I'm going to give the gameplay / map flow for Anfang a 6 out of 10 right now. I don't know if the content that's going to be added is more areas for Anfang, or if they're going to add like new versions of Anfang, like completely new experiences. I have no clue what the content in the future is going to be. So for right now, the season 1 version of Anfang, with 33 days left as I'm recording this, 32 maybe, is going to be 6 out of 10 on gameplay map flow. Okay, now story. This might be the best part of Anfang. The Treyarch has stepped up the dialogue from Cold War to be much like their previous games. All the Elder Gods will be talking to you. Even Season 1, the launch version, had less lines than the game actually does now. They've added even more voice lines, but there's tons of dialogue. Each operator has multiple voice lines. They'll be cracking a lot of jokes. Sometimes they'll repeat a little because they can't like put in as much as Richtofen and Primus Ultimus, Chaos, all those crews. But it still feels a lot like the old Treyarch games, and the interactions between the Elder Gods are really fun. There was a problem where Von List was constantly repeating voice lines, but that's been fixed by now. Because they've added a couple more. I don't know if they like had to record new ones or they just forgot to add those in. I'm not sure. They have Christmas unique voice lines, and I came across a voice line where Cortifex said Jingle Hells, which makes me think Jingle Hells was in development at some point, but they did not add a Jingle Hells mode, so I'm not sure. So the story is basically Professor Kraft is hiring the special forces of Vanguard to help him save the world from Von List and Cortifex reviving the dead. I'm putting it simply, there's a lot more radios that have been uncovered since then, but I think there's a lot more personality to it right now than Cold War. It's just a shame that the game mode itself doesn't have the same personality of the stories and voice lines. And we don't have an Easter egg yet, so I'm not going to take that points away from the story section, because usually I put story and Easter egg together. But so far we don't really have a beginning, middle, end of Anfang. More just, Fong's like completely reliant on the really good dialogue and all the lines they have added between the Elder Gods. My favorite is probably Invictor, because he insults you a lot and it's pretty funny. It'd be cool if the operators would talk back directly to the Elder Gods, but that I understand how much work it is to already be putting in all these lines for the operators. So yeah, the stories, we still don't have too much about it, but because of the dialogue right now, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I really think they're heading in the right direction with returning to more of the comedic dialogue and personality with operators. I still do hope eventually for Treyarch's next game they just give us a main crew with the option of operators, because I really like having 4 main characters that we can get attached to. I know that was the point of having the radio cast, but it's not the same as like being in their shoes for everything. You grow way closer to the character when you can be in their shoes for the direct story events they're experiencing. So yeah, all in all, my final score isn't like a combination of my 3 scores, it's just what I think of the game overall. So overall, I think Vanguard Zombies is 7 out of 10. It's still fun, I play it every day, and I got tons of hours on it. And I'm still grinding camos. It's just, there's not enough content right now for zombies only players who buy Vanguard. So if you're a zombies player exclusively, I still haven't played anything else in Vanguard yet. I've just been playing zombies. I haven't played multiplayer since the beta, and I still need to complete the campaign. But from a zombies player's perspective, I like the game, but there's not enough in it to warrant full price until they add more content to it. So 7 out of 10. It's fun, but yeah, it needs some more. My rating might change over time as I think more of it. None of this is Treyarch's fault, because they're being forced to work on every single game all the time. They got pulled from Black Ops 4 to take over Cold War, and now they're being put on Vanguard to develop zombies. And then they're working on their new game that's going to come out in 2023, so they're like constantly being forced to work on stuff. So I hope all the devs are doing good, and I can't wait to see what they put out in the future. Hope they're not being overworked by Activision. They probably are, because Activision sucks ass. But yeah, I'm looking optimistic to the future. I'm not gonna get mad at the devs or anything for this. This is obviously just Anfang's like a fun little side mode to hold us over until whatever Treyarch is planning next, whether that be more additions to Anfang, new modes, or just making Vanguard Zombies more of a mini mode compared to whatever they're gonna be working on for 2023. So yeah, depending on how big the Easter egg is, I might re-review Anfang or give the Easter egg its own review, more in depth than usually, but that's gonna be my Anfang review for now. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Sorry if I repeated myself a lot this video. I didn't write a script for this one because I wanted to get this one out. I want to be making more zombies content this year, so hopefully I think of some fun things to do. Also, the PS5 version of Share Factory does not allow you to use the Black Ops 3 Share Factory kit or any of the PS4 kits, so you're probably gonna get some stock music this time, which might suck, but maybe it's good not to have snakeskin boots playing for the 21st time.